in there.
No, I did that on purpose. I did just start recording, by the way, in case we start talking about something that will be beneficial to anybody else who doesn't come in. But yeah, no, I do that on purpose because I don't want you to get too caught up in all of the you know, myriad of possibilities with the huge space. I think it's really a good exercise to have to design a small space well. It is it's a good skill set to have. It is challenging, but you also have to think about being creative about storage and multi-use spaces as well, you know. And so I think it's a good exercise to go through. You're not designing your dream house here. You're trying to lay out a house, this house, you know, for you know, a small family, maybe a starter family type of thing.
I know you said we could do 1 bedroom, but I felt like I should put 2 in there because it's got a garage and a mudroom as well. It just seemed
Right.
like it should have 2 bedrooms
Yep.
to me.
Yep. So that
With a similar layout to was what was done in what you showed us last class, but
yeah.
a little different, but yeah.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like it helps in this class anyway to get a little bit of direction, you know, of what you could do with the space. Because you're not quite designers yet, but this gives you a taste of it. You know, this is the space planning part of the designing. And it is like a puzzle piece. When you're working with a floor plan, you realize, okay, these are the spaces I want. How can I arrange them to get them all to work and still give me the kind of space that I think is going to be functional for the activities I want in that space. So it can be a challenge. What you're trying to avoid for the most part are dead end corridors, wall warts, I call them, and that's when you have a room that's more or less square, but then you have like a bump out of just a closet. You know what I mean? So like it just sticks out, you know, or it just doesn't seem like it's in a great place. I would also avoid putting up a lot of walls in this plan. You don't need to divide every space, and think more about open concept. And that will make it feel bigger and make it a little bit more, the spaces be able to be used for multiple purpose.
Wall warts.
Yeah, it's my phrase. I coined it. But it is like, you know, when you walk into a room and you're like, why wasn't that closet just like designed into or around the bathroom rather than sticking out into this bedroom or sticking out into this hall or something? And so you look for those opportunities where you can kind of fit things around, or, oh, if I move that vanity over just a little bit, it gives me an opportunity to put a linen closet here or something like that. You know, so look for those little pockets of space. And so what I do when I do a layout is I'll look at the full floor plan and I'll start thinking about using it. So I imagine like myself coming home from the grocery store, walking in with my bag of groceries. Where's the bathroom? How conveniently is it located to the entry? Where are things when I walk into the kitchen? Where are things when I walk into the living room? And then you can start to notice too, like, wow, this area over here that I've got is not really, it's not really useful right now. What could I do differently to make it more useful? Or is that a good spot for me to put storage? And that's the way you want to think about your plans when you're laying them out. And then once you get your ideas of where your interior spaces are, you need to re-examine where your windows and doors are, because sometimes that moves windows and doors to locations that don't look so great from the outside. So you have to figure out a way to get the windows and doors to be placed in some kind of rhythmic order that also works for inside and outside. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Meredith, I just emailed you a snapshot of the floor plan that I roughly finished today. And I think it works, but I found it difficult to figure out. I think the bathroom layout was the hardest part, but I had a question about, in terms of calling out all of the windows and doors, Should that be on a totally separate sheet? I think I'd asked you about it, but I still don't totally know where to.
You talking about the window and door, uh, what do you call it there? Schedules?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I have the windows and door schedule as a worksheet in the lesson plan. And if nothing
Okay.
else, that can just live there. So that means that you would just put your list of windows in, and with windows, because windows are truly identical, if they're truly identical in every way, they can be counted. So a quantity should be provided for the windows, and then a letter associated with that window, and then that letter should be placed next to the window in the plan. So what I can do on my end is I can look at your window and door schedule, and I can match the window and door size to that schedule for your plan. Now, ideally, that window and door schedule would be on the plans themselves. But in this scenario, I don't mind them being in that document instead. If you don't have a way of providing it in any other way, that's fine with me. But what that coordination is doing is allowing you to put that information on the plans without having to clutter the plans with all of the door and window sizes typed out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and so on the floor plan, when I'm calling out so you said the windows should be organized by a letter, and doors by a number. Are those supposed to be in like a little, like maybe it's a hexagon or something?
Yeah, you can use whatever symbol you'd like for that. If you wanted to use you know, like circles for the windows to make it easier to draw, and triangles for the doors, or vice versa. Then just some little symbol that is a different symbol for the actual shape, and then put the letter or number inside that symbol. That would work fine.
Okay, cool.
Okay. And actually, if you don't mind, do you mind me sharing your plan that you sent me so that we can talk about it together? Okay.
Yep.
So, whoops, let me minimize that. Can I get rid of that? I don't want that right now. Let me put that down there. Okay, so this is your floor plan. So I like that you took the opportunity to take this space that was going to kind of be difficult to work with because it's wrapping around those stairs, right?
Yep.
So this is great too, because you have the opportunity to create a compartmentalized bathroom here. And that also gives you a good spot to put a window. I see nothing wrong with this, especially since this bathroom would be both the bathroom for the owners of the building, and then also any guests that come over, right?
Right.
So that makes it a good space. Like, you've got decent wall here to hang towels. You might have an opportunity to have some closet space on the inside here if you were to I'm trying to think if there was a way to rearrange this a little bit to be able to get some closet space, because there's a lot of empty space here that's not being used. But this is certainly workable. And putting like a pocket door, oh, I guess you can't put a pocket door here because of that, unless you were to put the drain on this side, Scylla, instead. And that becomes the shower head. Then you could have a pocket door here, and that way you have a compartmentalized toilet. So if somebody needs to come in and brush their teeth or wash their hands, since it's the only bathroom in the space, somebody could be in the toilet room and still have privacy. So that's one of the things I would do to change that layout a little bit. As you come in here, now that you've put the kitchen over here, I love that. That's a great idea. I would change the swing of the door so it you open into the kitchen instead of opening into the okay. And this is good circulation space. Perhaps you want to design maybe like a little bench with you know, imagine like a little benches right here with some hooks to hang your coat. Doesn't have to be a closet. That will use up some of this extra space that's here, but you do need all of this because there's a lot going on here as far as getting in and out of the space. But I do think you have an opportunity right here for a little bit of some kind of storage idea.
And you would put that floor plan like this, even though it would be like a furniture item kind of
Yep.
thing?
What you can do is just draw a box that represents the cushion you might sit on, and then just draw little marks here on the wall, and then you can just call it out and say built-in storage bench with coat hooks is
Cool.
fine. Or you can put a little symbol on it, and then down here show the symbol, and then indicate what it is here if you don't want to have to clutter your plan with it.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Let's see here. I would move the closet doors for this closet here as well, because when you have a closet, the width side is better approach to the closet than the short side, because you end up having more storage hanging or whatever opportunities. And what you could put here instead of a swing door, because you don't want that swing door to kind of get in the way of people walking through here, is you could put a bifold door in here.
Okay.
And that would make, I think, this closet a little bit more functional. I love pantries. I think this is a great idea. And this bedroom, it looks like, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 by 10 about,
Yeah.
which would be considered a small bedroom, but it's perfectly acceptable for, a couple or a single person. So I think that's fine. And your living area, I can imagine, a furniture arrangement in here, and this would be a great wall here, put an entertainment center on or something. And I think that would work well. This does feel a little bit like a big hallway space, so maybe maybe considering some additional storage on the other side and just making this space a little bit more enclosed, because you have an opportunity for storage here and here, I think, and you could certainly swing this door in instead of out. Okay.
And drawing storage options is like is relative to this plan.
Yeah, showing because whenever you have a really small space like this, showing where storage could go is key to making a small area really work. If you don't have place to put things, then these spaces are going to get really cluttered, and you can't put things away. That's a problem, right? So either having closet spaces or making these two spaces here, maybe some open storage and shelving would be great too. That would be a lovely spot, for instance, for some books or things like that. Okay.
Okay.
But I think this really works. I don't see anything wrong at all with it as far as code requirements go. And your kitchen, choosing to do these 2 bay windows on this side is a great idea to give yourself some extra light and a place to put maybe some plants and things like that. And this is going to make this bedroom feel bigger too.
Yeah.
Yep. So
hey Scylla.
Yeah.
The on the stairs going down to the basement, did you move in the wall that the wall that you might hit your head on, did you move that in at all?
This wall here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does look like and you made these winders, which these types of winders aren't allowed anymore. You have to have like a 4 inches on the inside here. So you may not have as much room here as you think, but you know what, Scylla, this could be turned into a shower with that wall moved over a little bit, and it would still work.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I like the idea of using the bathroom in that space because it is a little awkward, though. That's really good.
Yep. And great line work, by the way. This is really readable. Yeah, it looks good.
I didn't know if we needed to include, I did this whole plan on this sheet and then realized I didn't include the garage. Do we need to be showing window and door details for the garage?
No, that's where, I mean, yes, you would. If this was a real project, you would show the entire floor plan, right? But I really wanted you all to concentrate on this layout of this living space here. You have the mudroom space as well, and that there's access to the garage. Not a whole lot's happening in the garage. I assume whatever window types you use here, you would place them in the garage as well. So you don't need to include that, because not in this, not this semester.
Okay. Yeah.
just to make it a little bit more digestible. I just wanted to concentrate on the house plan.
I also had a question in terms of, I think I'd emailed you, but I forgot that it was Thursday and I could just ask you in the Zoom. But in terms of making choices about the roof, is there, maybe I just missed part of it, but like in terms of determining like the pitch of the roof, obviously the cornice detail is going to be like a specific sheet that I'll do, but
Yep.
I'm starting to attempt a section view.
Okay.
And I'm assuming that's like the only place that the roof is really going to be shown, like from the side and then from the top view. Does that make sense?
For the section, are you?
Yeah.
So if you're doing a full section just for your own, exploration in this, if you cut the section right down the middle right here and look in this direction so we can see the stairs beyond, then right down the middle, if you cut through that ridge, because this is a hipped roof with a 9/12 pitch. So then you would be able to see, it would look very similar to a regular cross section of a gable. Can you guys, if I switch to Revit, can you still see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So let me open it up to show you what I mean.
Hey Meredith, did
Yep.
our roof have to be at a 9/12 pitch?
No, but that's because you're working with CAD, so you can change that. But the folks that are working by hand, if you're going to use the elevations I generated for you, then the roof's already there.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But if you want to do your own thing there, Nick, because you're doing it in CAD, you can edit that. If
Okay.
you prefer that to be a different pitch, then because you chose electronic format, you have the ability to do that. And if it behooves you.
All right.
This is taking a little bit longer because I'm sharing, so it might take a little bit of time. I'm assuming Tori doesn't have audio again. Let me just check with her. Whoops. Oh, no. Okay. All right. So I'll keep an eye on the chat, Tori, in case you have any questions. But if this is helpful to see other people's plans so you can see what you're going to be doing, you and I have exchanged emails recently with what you were doing with your foundation plan, and keep doing that. If anything you need me to take a look at, just keep sending me pictures, okay? All right. Okay. Come on, let's go, Revit. You can do it. All right. So I'm I'll just cut a brand new section to show you what it's going to look like if you were cutting it right down the ridge, because this section that I have here isn't going right through the center of the ridge. When we look at this in 3D, because this is slightly, it's not quite square, this building, it's 30 feet by 28, we get a small little ridge right there, right? So if you were to imagine cutting it right there in the middle, and like I said, I'd have that section facing this way so you can see the stairs beyond. That's more or less what it would look like. So it almost looks the same as a gable, right?
And so this view that we're looking at, this is the section view that we need to have?
No, I've made it so all you needed to do is give me this wall section, which you've done, and then
Mhm.
just this cornice detail.
Okay, so we don't need to, I was starting to do a layout like we did of the shed where we took the whole shed and did
Yep.
like elevations. That's what I was.
Well, normally that is the progress. That's the way that you would do things if you were designing. You would first start off with designing a floor plan, and then you would come up with a typical wall section, and that typical wall section would inform you of the heights that you were going to adhere to for the actual section. But then you would build a full section to get the heights of the roof and the fascia and soffit locations and the finished floor locations and so on and so forth. In Revit,
Okay.
it's already doing that for you, but if I was drawing by hand, I would never generate my elevations before I had an idea of what I was doing for this typical wall section, which is why I had you guys do that part of it. Because once you know how to do that, then you can actually generate a realistic wall, full section that would help you to inform you of your correct heights for your elevations. So the elevations are really the last drawings you end up doing in architecture. And they're the pretty picture drawings, the ones that you need to see the plans, and you need to get those sections down right with the actual building components in them to be able to know exactly what's going on with those elevations. And in order to put the elevations in so you get a pitch here that's an actual pitch you can measure, what you would do is measure over 12 inches and then go up the number of inches in for the pitch. And you can use whatever scale you want to do that, as long as you use the same scale for both directions. So for example, if I were to draw a line here from, whoops, I'm using L for line in AutoCAD, Revit, and that doesn't work. So if I use detail line here and I start a line from where the edge of where my rafter is going to be, or better yet, you usually would start it at where you'd want your rafter notch to be cut. I would draw a line 1 foot over and then go up, let's say 6 inches. See how I've got this line and this line here creating that triangle. So if I put a line in here that goes from the end of that first line I drew that was 1 foot long in horizontal distance, and then go to the top of the 6-inch line, I know that that line that I just drew there is exactly a 6/12 pitch, right? And that would end up being representing the bottom of your rafter. And I'm telling you guys this because it is important to know how to do this manually so that you get these pitches right. So if I draw a line instead here that's 9 inches in length, so if I make that 9 inches, whoops, it's not going to let me do exactly 9 inches because it's snapping too. Oh, come on. I gotta get and zoom in really closely to do it. This is one of the things I hate about Revit, that in AutoCAD, all I have to do is just hit 9, right? Now you see how that pitch, that's a 9/12 pitch, it's matching the pitch of the roof now. See that? So that's how you can create the accuracy of the roof pitch. And then you would take this line and offset it the thickness of your rafter. And then you would do the same thing on the opposite side of the building width, and then join them together here at the top of the peak, and then you'd know how tall that roof is. And that's how you would generate a full section. And it's good to know how to do that, but you don't need to do that for this class, okay?
Just need to do the cornice detail.
Yep, right here, yep.
And it doesn't need to extend to the middle of the roof, right?
No, it doesn't. Because this is really, everything that's going on here, Scylla, is really, it's doing exactly the same thing anywhere I cut the floor plan. So if I were to cut the floor plan and cut it this way instead, and we look at that, because it's a hip roof, we're seeing exactly the same cornice detail here. You see?
Okay. Yeah.
If it was a gable roof, we would have 2 different directions. You'd have a rake overhang and a soffit overhang, but this has got the same, hip. It's got a soffit all the way around it, right?
And where can I find this example in our resources? for the cornice detail to like relate it to my wall?
Yep. So the best place to find that is, let me go back here and go to the Google Drive. I think I have it linked into the stair lecture stuff, but I'm not 100% sure, and I will make sure it's linked there if, and put it right in the same folder in the video file, or on the video tab on the class portal. But here's where you can find it. Sorry, this is jumping around on me. Because you all have access to these student files here, right? And if you go into the 165 class, under assignments and handouts, I do have all of the topics listed here by what they are. So if you go into roof, you have roof notes and details. And in that PDF, there's the different roof styles. And then this page right here, actually, let's see if I can rotate this. Whoop, let me minimize that. It's not letting me rotate it. I guess I have to open it to rotate it. I thought I was able to rotate it. Anyway, these are upside down cornice details, which are not very helpful, but that's a cornice detail right there. And then there's another example. And then on this page here, I'm gonna get to it. This is lovely. Everything's upside down or not in the right direction. This page, this is my detail that I used in the Google slide. That is a cornice detail right there. The only thing is that this pitch isn't right. You want to make this a 9/12 pitch instead of a 6/12 pitch. But pretty much everything that's shown here is what you could use for guidance.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this detail here is in the Google slide. So, and I shared that with you guys. Whoops. Yeah. All right, let me hit stop share for now. And go back. Hi, David. I'm not sure if he's got his microphone working or not. Yeah, so I guess to, oh, hi, David.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. I am recording this, so whatever you missed in the very beginning, you'll be able to watch it. We were talking about floor plans, and then Scylla was asking some specific questions about the wall section and cornice detail that I'm asking you to do for this project.
Oh, okay.
So I was answering her question.
Cool.
Does anybody else have any floor plans to share? You want me to take a look at? You can email them to me and I can bring them up if you want.
I think I have mine to share with you if I haven't shared it already.
Did you email it to me, David?
I think so. I think it was a while ago though. And I think you may have gave me back my red lines for it.
Okay, let me see. Was it the foundation plan that you're talking about?
Yeah, I think so. Yep, that one.
Yeah. Yes, I did give you red lines to that one. And I think I told you to add the call outs. And so one of these you had also had the call outs, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So what I was talking about today is the actual floor plan layout. If you've had a chance to start that.
Oh, okay.
Is all you're doing too, by the way, is to you're just doing the floor plan for the house part. You don't have to worry about the mudroom or the garage. That came up earlier today too. Mm-hmm. So the PDF that I have for you to download and print, that will be at 1/4 inch equals a foot. That just shows that area anyway. So you're going to be laying out a bedroom, a kitchen, and a bathroom in that space. You can add another bedroom if you want to. That's up to you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, that makes sense now. Yeah, I have to add my rooms in and stuff like that.
Right, and once you do that and you figure out where your walls and your rooms are going to be, then you're going to have a better idea of where those windows are going to land to.
Uh-huh.
And then make sure to look at those window placements from both the inside and how they function on the inside of the room and how they look on the outside.
Yep.
Okay.
Where could I go to like find a list of different doors? Do I just go on like AutoCAD and just use their list, like to find?
All right, so let me share my screen again, and because I did want to talk with you all about doors and windows, and I was going to do that on Tuesday, but I don't mind starting it a little bit earlier. Some good websites to go to for windows are Marvin, Pella, and Anderson. Anderson is going to be your, they're good quality windows, but they're going to be the least expensive. Marvin is, I think, going to be the most expensive, and Pella will be about mid-range, and then we'll have some pretty expensive options as well. Oh, and the other one that's more local is Paradigm, I think, is a more local window manufacturer that's pretty large, though. The place down the street from me in South Portland called A-Best Windows, they're more window replacement. So the big ones I'm talking about are Anderson, Marvin, and Pella, like I said. So one of the things you can do, because Josh Kreider, in the last class, he was like, how do I find the catalogs for these windows? So if you type in Marvin window catalog PDFs, you should be able to go right to the catalog PDFs and see the brochures. The request a brochure, they may require that you register or anything. No, that's not it. Now it came up the other day. Now why can't I find it now? All right, let's just go in here to Marvin Windows. You can also go under for professionals to find some specific sizes and configurations. So when you're on a website, look for anything that says for professionals or for, yeah, see how we have the professional stuff down here? You have drawings and 3D models. So those are great for anybody using CAD stuff or Revit. You might be able to find the actual model that you're looking for in Revit or in AutoCAD. And then, yep. Did I hear a question?
Oh no, I
Okay.
just said wow.
Yep. And then tools and documents might be a good place to go into as well. Tools and documents might have some PDF files that you can download that will have their entire catalog. So like, here's an example right here. Notice this says window, and you have windows, you have doors, and then you have ultimate awning as a default here. But if I change this to double hung, let's say, I'll use the double hung G2. These are the PDF files for those double hung windows. So we have the first one that comes up here, Ultimate Double Hung Transom G2. If we click on that, it's going to be the PDF stuff that shows the window sizes that you can get that window in. Well, actually, that looks like that's the transom one. I must have hit on the wrong one here. Let me go back. Minimize this so I can get to it. So that one was transom. I want just that one, sorry. So this is a great way to shop your windows and window sizes. Because what's nice about this is you have your rough openings are listed right here. There's RO. So you have your rough opening widths. You go right across. So let's say you know that you wanted a window that was at least 30 inches to up to 36 inches. So you know you're shopping in this range right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you also said, well, I know I want to put this window in a bedroom, so I want the sill height of the window to be around 2 feet, then you probably want a pretty tall window too. So you'd come down towards the bottom and you can see your rough openings here for height are listed in the same position, but vertically like that. So if I chose this 3024, how to read this manufacturer's number is the 30 is the width of the window and the 24 is the height of the bottom sash. So that 30 by 24 gives you the size that the operable part of the window would be that you'd be using in the bedroom. And so this also, this window right here would meet egress requirements. Okay. Because the size of the bottom sash needs to be 5.7 square feet or larger, and it meets the egress requirements. And if you were to do the math on this and do 3 times 2, it's 6 square feet, right? For the bottom sash.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So that's a good way to do it. Now, the other thing to look at, and the way to look at this is if you like a certain proportion, you can also shop the windows in a diagonal format. See how the proportion of the window is growing if I go from here and I keep moving down diagonally? The proportion of the window is staying the same, but it's just getting larger, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those are the ways you want to look for window sizes. And then once you find your window size, you're going to associate, let's say you decide to use the window I pointed out. This is going to be my bedroom windows. These are going to be my egress windows. So that it makes sense to use that same window in other places in your floor plan so that you have some consistency on the outside elevations. So I usually pick out my egress window for my bedrooms, and then I tend to use that window as the most common window in the house. And then I might pick out some specialty windows for places like in the kitchen or in the bathroom.
Oh.
And those specialty windows might be, for instance, think about how difficult it is to raise the bottom sash of a double hung window when it's in the kitchen and you have your countertop in the way. You really have to lean way over that countertop and lift that bottom sash. And it in some ways, if it's an older window too and needs to be replaced, the bottom sash sticks and it's not fun, you know. So think about the ease of operation based off where it is. Also, the bottom sash of the window or the window height needs to be adjusted so it clears the countertop. So you know you're going to have a different window size no matter what in the kitchen. So it's okay for you to consider a different window type in the kitchen, like maybe a casement window or a slider, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the ways that you can go shopping. So the door manufacturers, and Anderson's very similar, and so is Pella. I think all of them you'll be able to find like a PDF to go and shop for sizes. So the other the one that I know of that's a door type is it's called Therma-Tru. Whoops.
We're putting windows in this house right now. I am with my boss, and I heard that there's this code that came out like recently that like your windows can't be if your windows are like the bottom of the window is less than 18 inches from the floor, that it has to be like tempered glass.
Yeah, that's not new. That's been around for a while. So you do want to try to design your sill height for your windows to be above that 18-inch, to not have to purchase a lot more expensive window, right?
Yeah.
So the other places that you have to have leaded or leaded glass or tempered glass, David, is if you put a window in a stairwell, and it's in a position where somebody could fall into it or whatever, that needs to be tempered. You also need to put, if you have one of those like side lights on your door where the window goes down lower than that 18 inches, that would need to be tempered. So there's a lot of, in the IRC, it's very specific about where those dangerous areas are and when the glass needs to be tempered. But we don't really, I think the only application we have is if you put your sill height really low, then you'll have to temper the glass. So keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
But here, Therma-Tru is a good door manufacturer, and they do both exterior and interior doors. So this is a good place to go shopping for your door types. So if you go into Explore, that's one place, and then you have an I'm a Professional button over here that is usually good to check out. Oh, what do they have in there? And you can usually find some additional tools. Like, so here's product merchandising brochure. You can download and use if you want to go under for architects. There's Easy Spec is a way to download specifications for your architectural project really easily. And they're doing this because they want you to spec out their particular doors to use in your project. But similar, you should be able to find PDFs. There's your door collections right here. You can click on that. And all I'm doing is I'm looking the same as you, just to kind of push buttons and see what's out there. So these are all the exterior doors that you can go through and look at. And I thought they had interior doors, but maybe I'm wrong. So do they have interior doors? These look like all exterior doors. So let's just look to see if we can find interior door manufacturers. Interior wood doors. What comes up? Home Depot, oh, Brockway Smith. There's a catalog that everybody in the business used to get called the Brosco book. And Brockway Smith Company basically is a company that sells Andersen windows and a whole bunch of different door manufacturers. So this would be a good resource to go into as well and check that out. So yeah, there's the Brosco. You might even be able to request a Brosco book if you I don't know if they charge you or not. If you said, for me, I'm a student, maybe they'd give it to you for free. But it's a good thing to have if you like a hard copy of things. But this is going to have also similar, like it's going to be a list of cataloged products. But unlike Andersen and Marvin, this company sells products from a number of manufacturers, and they just include it in their Brosco book. So you're going to be able to find both doors and windows, I think, in this. There's interior doors right here. And you got different interior door types, the paneling. So you've got fir, pine, oak. They probably also have a collection of, molded and engineered, basically, wood doors. This MDF is an easily molded material that is you'd never leave this. This would always be painted, but these are your real wood doors up here that you might leave exposed like this, and just have them be wood doors or stained. Okay. And if you go into view more, I'm sure there's going to be some good spec and catalog information that you can get into for sizes and stuff. Yeah, this is great. So this is exactly what the Brosco book looked like. And when you run through this, you get all these different configurations for design. And then these are the available door sizes. And if you keep going through this, it will show you additional information about how the door is structured and made. And I think if we keep going, there's going to be a general notes page that will tell you jam details and information. There's a lot of great information in this Brosco catalog. So there you go. You don't even need to get the catalog sent to you hard copy. You've got it right here as a reference. So this is a good thing. I will copy this link and make sure I put it on the class page. Okay.
Yeah. Sweet. That'll be a good reference.
Yep. It's a great reference. Yeah. And again, like you're just trying to figure out. I wouldn't go too crazy with different door and window types, because whoops, I keep doing that. I was trying to stop sharing. Keep it simple. I don't think you should have any more than like maybe three window types or 4 window types at the most in this little project. If you have more than that, you've got too many styles and it's going to look not cohesive from the outside. Same thing with the doors. Once you pick an interior door style, stick with that one style. The only thing that you might change is the functionality of the door. I talked to Scylla about maybe putting a pocket door between her toilet and her other spaces in her bathroom. Pocket door is still going to be that door we just looked at, but it's just going to have a different hardware package that gets delivered with it. And the symbol itself on the plan looks a little different, that's all. The symbol on the plan should look like a door that has a pocket in the wall that can slide in and out. And usually you show the pocket door half open and you show half of the pocket in the wall so you can see that the door could completely go inside the wall or completely close and enclose that opening. Important thing to note about pocket doors, whatever size the door is double the actual opening size, because the wall itself needs, the rough opening of the wall needs to be double the size of the door to allow for the space for the actual pocket kit to be put in the wall so that the door can go into the wall. So keep that in mind. So if I have a 24-inch wide door for a pocket door, the rough opening I need is really 4 feet wide. Okay? Yep. Your book also has some good information about, see if I can, good information about windows and doors and kitchens and baths, because that's the topic that we talked about last class. If you go into, let me share again, sorry. You can't see what I'm doing if I don't share, can you? Share screen, there we go, share. So if you go into your My Main Guide, I'm going to go into the My Main Guide and I'm going to go into the My Learning and go bring up the book and show you what's in there that I would look at in particular in your book. The chapters on specialty construction has, I believe, the stairs and some other things in it, like chimneys and fireplaces. There's a chapter for doors and windows, which is an obvious chapter to take a look at. And then the other one is, I can't remember the chapter that is called for the kitchens and baths, but it's in that chapter has kitchens and baths both together. Maybe that's special construction. I can't remember what chapters, what. Yeah, so kitchen layouts. And so in special construction, you have stairs, escalators, fireplaces. I mean, it's really a catch-all for everything that we didn't cover, bathroom spaces. And so that's a great chapter to look at for the kitchen and bath layouts that you're working on. These are the same kitchen layouts I talked about in class the other day, and has a little bit more description, some information about, kind of circulation depending on the type of kitchen you're designing. This A, B, and C is your work triangle to those 3 kitchen appliances and plumbing fixtures that you want access to in a kitchen, which is always going to include the sink, the range, and the refrigerator. Those 3 appliances create your triangle. It also shows you an example similar to what I showed you in the Revit, like, a layout and how much layout space there should be around something. And it gives you different cabinet functions, very limited. There's a lot more than just this now. And then also, what are the cabinet sizes typically? The smallest, remember, is 9 inches, and it goes up from there to usually like 48 inches. And then if we go a little bit further, you have some specific information about what has to happen in a kitchen for ventilation and lighting. There's some code requirements that are run over here that are more or less correct still. Over the range, you must have some kind of ventilation that can be either a microwave with a vent that is like the charcoal ventilation, or you can have a direct to outside ventilation, which is way better opt for that whenever you can. And your lighting in your kitchen needs to be adequate. And electrical, there's some rules, but we're not going to worry about electrical in this class, but there's very strict rules on electrical placement, how many of these electrical outlets you have to have in a kitchen, and whether or not they need to be ground fault circuit interrupters. And for the most part, electricians make those all ground fault circuit interrupters regardless of where they are. And they usually make that all attached to 2 circuits in the basement, so that, or wherever your electrical box is. And those 2 circuits then provide 240 volts total, but they're split. So one receptacle, each receptacle is getting its own 120 volts, so that when you plug in your coffee maker and your toaster in one outlet, it's not going to trip the system all the time. And then go a little further and you got your bathroom layouts. And these are the ones I was explaining that show you how to compartmentalize your bathroom and how big a powder room maybe needs to be. There's 2 different configurations there for a powder room. And then over here, you've got examples of ADA compliant residential bathrooms, which is different than commercial. So do not assume this is okay for commercial, but this is okay for residential. And then I have to go backwards a little bit, I guess, to the doors and windows is chapter 8, just before that. And that's a good place to go to see a little bit more information about doors, door types, operations, what they look like in plan. This is a great example of, all right, I'm going to show a pivot door. What does it look? How do I show that in plan? And this is an example of a swing door. In showing the swing door, do I show it at 90 degrees, 45, 120? Typically in a residential plan, you show the door at 90 degrees because then that shows the full swing of the door so that you know to keep furniture and whatnot away from that space. This is an example of sliding door, bypass door, surface sliding. You can see how it's supposed to be drawn. And there's a great example there of a pocket door, how it's supposed to be drawn. And then the same thing when you get into windows, through that, you got window operation, similar page where you've got the window and what is it? What type of window? This is casement. You got to have a single or a double casement. These windows are the same exact window, but it's called an awning if it opens from the top, and it's called a hopper if it opens from the bottom. These are sliding windows, which is basically, think of it as a double hung put on its side, but it's not the same window unit. A sliding window is manufactured a little differently. Jailhouse windows you usually see in southern climates because they allow you to provide some built-in shade. And then this is a pivoting window. And then some information about like how are window units put together, the different sizes and configurations that you can get, and so on. I think somewhere in here too, David's mentioned about like having glass be tempered in certain situations might be mentioned somewhere here in this this chapter as well. Okay, so there's a lot to look at in there as well, and don't forget to use that book as your reference. There's a lot of great information in there. I was saying to Scylla, this is my 3rd meeting today. So my voice is getting tired of talking. I've still got one more. So anything else I can help you all with?
Not for now, thank you.
Not for now, okay. Yeah, go explore those places. It's kind of fun. Definitely give yourself a timer though. Put a timer next to you when you do that, because I'll tell you, I've gone and, gone shopping, quote unquote, for things for, my clients or my plans and stuff. And then all of a sudden it's 2.5, 3 hours later because it's fun. And then you go, oh my God, I didn't get anything done today. So, set yourself a timer and don't go down too many rabbit holes, but those are good places to at least check out.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna work on my floor layout on my,
Okay.
and then I'll send it to you.
Perfect. Make sure you're printing that full size, David, from the PDF so that, print it, make sure it's not scaling it when you print it. Because I do have it set up to print a 1/4 inch on that A size paper. So if you're making sure when you send it to print that it's not set to fit, but set to 100%, it should print at 1/4 inch equals a foot.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yep. Sweet.
Alrighty, I think I'm gonna head out.
Okay.
All right, have a good day, you guys. See you
Yep.
later.
See you
Thank
Tuesday.
you.
Yep, see
Okay.
you then.
Oh, Tori. Okay, that's fine, Tori. I get it. Yeah, just you've never been shy about emailing me, so go email me if you end up having some questions when they do come up. Okay.
I think I'm gonna head out. I'll see you
Okay.
in class on Tuesday.
Okay. All right.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
You too.
You too, Tori. Bye.